What's up, guys? Before I get this video started, I want to give a huge shout out to Morgan over at Sidetracked Off-Road for getting me all the parts that I needed in a timely fashion. I mean, he had all the stuff in stock. I called all the dealers that I know, that I deal with, and no one had any of that stuff in stock, so definitely a huge shout out to him. I'll put his website, I think he has a website, I'll put it down in the description below if you want to check out what he has. He handles like trail gear products. He makes his own beadlocks, which is pretty cool. So like I said, huge shout out to him. So anyways, less talking and let's get to the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So part 3 of the George build series. Build George. But anyways, in this video, we're finally gonna start assembling stuff. So I picked up the parts from my buddy. He got the housing sandblasted, and he also got the transfer case cleaned up a little bit. So I'll just show you. So there's the transfer case. It looks a lot better than what it did. It was all oily and greasy and dirty. It does have a little bit on it yet, but she's good. So I still got to get the flanges down in my other garage. I'm going to use large flanges because they will bolt right up to Toyota drive shafts. So I got to put them on, which that doesn't matter. I just want to try to get in the cradle. And then we also got the front diff back together. A friend of mine tore it all apart, cleaned all the bearings out of it, and reset it. So it should be good to go. And then here's the front axle housing. Like I said, I got it all bead blasted from my buddy. So it's all looking pretty good. Like the inner part of me wants to cut these off. Technically this off, and like shave it down and then move it closer, or cut it off and like truss it, but I just don't have time. I got like a week and a half to get this thing back together and wheelable. Same thing with these. I'd love to cut these off and remount them on, but it is what it is. Time is of the essence. So anyways, first things first, I'm gonna get the transfer case in the cradle over there. I'll set you up on time-lapse and get this thing in. And then the other plan for tonight is to get the front axle bolted in, and I don't want to push it, but maybe get the knuckles on and start mocking them up. My plan is to try to get the knuckles on, so then I can put weight on it, put the knuckles on, so then I can figure out where the stops are for the back, so that I can make the stops. Also figure out the shock mounts, where I'm going to mount them at. And then I'm still waiting for the Heim joints. I still didn't get the 488s for the rear axle yet. But anyways, done talking. I'm going to get this transfer case in the cradle, and yeah, let's get this video started. So let's get to work. Okay, so I got the transfer case in the cradle. Must say it's looking pretty good. So there she is, all bolted down in the Trail Tough Mighty Kong 2. I think it's the Mighty Kong 2 transfer case cradle. So if you're looking for a Trail Tough cradle, let me know, I can get them for you. But anyways, So that's almost finished. I got to run down to my other garage and pull some flanges off transfer case. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to start putting the front axle housing in and getting it bolted up. I did get new U-bolts for it. I had the place make them where I get my U-bolts made for my YJ kits. So I got brand new U-bolts. Well, I do got to run down to my garage and get the new nuts because they were out of nuts. So I have to use ones off my other U-bolts I have. So I got to run down there anyways. So I might as well just go down to my other garage while I'm down that way and pull the flanges off the transfer case. So yeah, I mean, that thing went together pretty easy, which is awesome. So anyways, I'm gonna run down to my other garage, pull the flanges off, and yeah, get back up here and start putting this thing together. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got back up here from my other garage and pulled the flanges off of the transfer case I had. I can't get this one off, but I already had, where did I do with the other over here? I already had the other one off, so I just pulled two of them off. So I got them. I messaged my buddy. I was like, dude, I might as well see if he's around tonight and I can take them down and get them bead blasted because they are rusted. So I'm gonna try to do that tonight. And then also I went to fit this pad on the passenger side, and well, it doesn't fit over the nuts. I'm gonna run down to my other garage and drill this out to a 5/8 hole. For some reason, I feel like I'm running back and forth all the time to garage. But hey, that's what you have to do when you don't have enough room. So let's get this hole drilled out. So anyway, so here's the U-bolt plate. Nice and flat, she's sitting on there. So I'm gonna put you in time lapse and I'm gonna get the U-bolts on the driver's side, the one U-bolt on this side, and then figure out the bolt length because I'm pretty sure I cut them because they were rusted and they wouldn't come out. So let's get to work. Okay, so I got the U-bolts on. I thought I had the right bolts for the side of the U-bolt plates. I'll show you. So you use bolts for this side, which I thought I had the right length bolts, but I don't. They're a little too long. So I guess that's pretty much where I'm gonna be stopping for tonight. So I just checked my phone and the hardware store that's close to me is closed already. So yeah, go figure. But anyways, I guess that's gonna be end of this clip. I guess I'll do some more work on it tomorrow when I get the bolts from the hardware store. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day. I got the transfer case flanges all sandblasted last night. I went to Ace Hardware. I got the bolts that I needed for the passenger side U-bolt plate. So yeah, so I'll show you the transfer case. I got it in the cradle, which I think I showed a clip of me doing that. But anyways, here it is all said and done. So there she is. Got the flanges painted up today. She looks all right. I mean, transfer case is a little dirty yet, but it's definitely better looking than what it did. And I also did mess around with the axle a little bit today earlier. I got the knuckles on. I got them all shimmed up. These are just mocked up. I didn't put the axle shafts or anything, or the seals, or the wiper seals, or anything like that yet. I just got the knuckles on and just this old steering bar on, just so then I can put a tire on it. Actually probably put both tires on it, put it down, put the rear axle and jack stands, put the weight on it, so then I can figure out shocks, so I can mock the shocks up, make shock tabs, and then also I got to do the shackle stops, steering stops. I did have to steal 3 of these out of my other axle in my other garage because I only had one of them, which I hate stealing, robbing parts out of complete axles, but I needed them. So, and then like, if you ever have Sky Manufacturing's Toyota swap kit, like back here, this bolt hole, hopefully you can see it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this bolt hole is usually threaded, but threads were all messed up, so I just drilled through it. And let me see if I can grab this bolt. Like what I'm doing, it will work. It's just, crap, which bolt is it? Oh well, it's a longer bolt, but you'll get, oh no, there it is. Like, it's gonna make it a pain in the ass, but I mean, if you know how to, it won't be for me because I'm the one building the rig. So like, it'll go through, as you can see, but when you put the nut on, the nut will fit. Just, you have to take this bolt out and nut out to be able to pop the differential out, which it's not that hard to pull one bolt out. I mean, I don't think it is. So I'm just gonna leave that out for now because the diff's just in. I put the diff in just so then I could make sure for the clearance for this, because my plan is once I get all the tabs welded on the axle housing, I'm going to rip the housing all back apart and pull it out of the Samurai and then paint it and then throw it back in for final assembly. So I got that done so far. It's definitely not a lot. I still have a lot to do yet. Like, I got to still mock up the ram, got to get that mounted. But my plan is tonight is to get the transfer case in at least. So I made my laser guy. He actually, these were supposed to be the spacers for the rear YJ shackle swap because it's narrower at the top. He actually cut these out and had a 3/8 hole in them. So they weren't right, so he gave them to me just in case. Well, I'm gonna use these for transfer case mounts. I mean, it's gonna be solid mount, but it should be fine because I don't have any of the rubber ones, and like, well, time is of the essence, so I just figured I would make these up. I did get like a cutoff wheel and I cut this way on 4 spots on these pieces, and then I just TIG welded them just so they hold all together. So once they're done cooling down, I'm gonna put them on the transfer case. Well, technically I'm gonna set them in the Samurai and try to get the transfer case in, and then I can mock up the new transfer case mount. I got all ready to go. So that's the plan for the night. If I can get the transfer case mocked up in there, so then tomorrow I can come and just start weld it in fully, so then that's done. Then I can really start chipping away at the front axle, trying to get all that mocked up, get the shocks mocked up. Enough talking and more working. So I'm gonna put you in time lapse and hopefully get this transfer case in. So let's get it in. Okay, so as you saw there, I got the transfer case in. I got the driver's side mount tacked on the frame rail, which I'm just going to show you what I do on how I install them. So let me show you. So I mean, I don't know if you saw in the video, in the time lapse, but like this was cracked out. Let me get the camera right. It was cracking through here, so I just got a cutoff wheel and sliced through the crack and then just welded it back up and ground it down. So here's the transfer case mount I got up in there. When I do them, I usually just clamp the frame plate just to hold it where I need it, and then figure this bracket out where it gets mounted. Like, I try to get it centered in the bracket as best as I can, which I am off a little bit, which that ain't gonna really matter too much. But so I usually tack it, and then I usually unbolt it from here and then pop it off, and then I put it on my table and clamp it down here and there, and then just weld the bracket to the plate, and then weld the plate to the frame. Okay, so I got the transfer case mount welded on the frame. Did some cleaning up a little bit because I did have a pretty big mess. So here's the transfer case mount. So there she is, all welded up. Like I said, the bolts, I'm gonna try to get bigger bolts tomorrow. These were just used for mock-up. I tried to weld along the top as far as I could, that I could see. So I think I got like halfway to the mount. Same thing with this side. So I got that all done. Had to pull the exhaust over so then I have room to weld in there and have more access to the top. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing crossed off the list. Technically it's not done yet. Like I said, still gotta get bolts. Still gotta spray paint the transfer case mount. And then here's the axle I cleaned up. I mean, dude, it's so dirty inside still. It's rusty. I mean, it is what it is. Can't really see. I mean, it'll work though. It's cleaned up enough that it doesn't get stuff in the gears, like chunks of metal and stuff. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty much for it for tonight, because it is like 9 o'clock. Been at my garage all day, so I'd like to go home and maybe eat some food. So, that's it for today. Tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully I can get hopefully the ring and pinion kit comes for the back tomorrow. So then my buddy can get that all together. And then once that's together, I can put that diff back in the rear, get that all sealed up, put new axle seals in the back. I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow and see if he can try to find try to get like new brakes for the rear, like new shoes. Hopefully he can get the springs, and I might even tell him just to try to get the drums. Like, screw it, like, it's already apart. It's like, I didn't want to put money in this axle, but like, I have a feeling that once I tear this apart, which these are the ones out of that axle, which the wheel bearings are good, I just have a feeling the brakes in these are gonna be bad because the drums are stuck, so it's all probably rusted and all shit. So yeah, so I'll talk to him tomorrow, see what he wants to do. Hopefully he just buys all new brake hardware and shoes and drums. Throw them in and call it a day. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What's up, guys? Did some work on Georgia Samurai this morning. Forgot my camera at my house, and I didn't feel like driving back because it's 20 minutes one way, so it just wasn't worth it. So this morning I pulled out the rear baffles, which I'll show you over here. Pulled out the rear baffles and the axle to get them cleaned up, which technically I pulled them out yesterday. I took them down to my buddy's shop to clean them up, and dude, they're horrible. They're trashed. Not gonna reuse them. I ended up having another housing. Oh, there it is. I had a housing, and that had baffle in it, so I pulled them out. They're in much better shape, so I cleaned them up. I'm gonna put them in. Also ordered a bunch of parts for the rear axle, like drums. Ordered new drums, new seals, new brake hardware, and shoes. Screw it, might as well just do it all new. I didn't want to do that to this axle, but I knew 3 people that might have had a rear axle, and the one guy never got back to me. The other guy said he had to message his friend to see if he wanted to get rid of one. I messaged him twice. He said his friend didn't get back to him. And then one of my friends has a truck that he's gonna part out. He told me a price for the axle. Well, the next day he's like, oh, I'm gonna need this much for it, which was doubled. So yeah, so that didn't happen. And then, oh yeah, and then I also figured out the shock hoops. It's just mocked up right now. I still got well, technically the only reason I have my camera right now is because I actually had to run home to grab my laptop, because I did forget that, because I do need to make these tabs longer. And then I also Need to cut these pieces out, which I'm going to redesign this one a little bit. Let me get back. I'm going to redesign this one a little bit. If you see like this thing here, I'm going to make that a little bigger so it covers the bushing a little more. So I'm going to redesign that one, which that's the same bracket I used on the sidekick when I built it. So if you watch that video, that's pretty much how I figured that one out, was when I was building the sidekick. So yeah, so I got this side all figured out. Like I said, I just need to cut the brackets out, recut them out, make them longer, and get them on. So anyways, I'm gonna get to programming, cut them out, and then I'll show a little time lapse of me building the driver's side. So yeah, let's get to work. Okay, so I started working on the driver's side, and it's definitely not as easy as the passenger side. So I'll just show you what I ran into. So if you know Samurai frames, this is the factory steering box bolt for the factory location. Well, there's this. It's like that piece. It's recessed in the frame. It's welded around. So I ground all that down, as you can see, and then that piece fell out because I ground it all down. And then the whole frame's filled with mud. So I guess I'm just gonna try to chisel most of it up, get the vacuum cleaner, suck as much as I can out of it, out of this hole. And then I'm gonna have to make plates for the standoffs to go on for the shock towers. Okay, so as you can see, I got the driver's side all mocked up. I made the plates to cover that hole. Same thing with the back plate. And yeah, I got a lot of clamps on it, holding it where I needed it. Once I get one of these tabs where I want them located, then I usually come in with the spacer I have that I use to build lower shock mounts and stuff, so my products. So I just put that in and then bolt the other tab. So then it's all square, because sometimes when you try to use the bushings, if you tighten the bushing too tight, it will like lean them in. So I did that, did it with the bottom too. I mean, I guess this side's all mocked up, so I guess I'm gonna pull the shock off and take all the clamps off, and then get this thing on my table and weld all around the tubing and tubing to the plate and the tabs, and then pretty much get it back on here, tack it up, and then make sure it fits good, and then weld it up solid. Okay, so I've been making some progress on the Samurai. I haven't been filming much, just been trying to get this stuff done and knocked out. So anyways, a little update. I started messing with the RAM. I got that mounted, as you can see. I mean, I was thinking like the steering bar is going to be mounted in the same location. It's just going to have heim joints instead of tie rod ends. So I figured I could do the axle mount, which I got done doing that. I actually had to do it twice because I didn't like the way it was done the first time. And then I got it all figured out, and I put, like, it comes, I guess the kit comes with these little spacers, and I put them in, and it was too narrow because it hit the breather. So I just made new spacers to make it wider so I could go down across the breather instead. I mean, the ram has movement, and I did full lock both ways, and it's no binding, because if you look at the ram, it's pretty straight, so it moves a little bit, but it doesn't bind, it doesn't hit, so it should be good. And then also, yeah, it's not hot anymore. I also got some 5/8 nuts, hit some nuts in the steering stops, because like you can put the, like, I know there's a company that makes like something like these where you weld them on like this, but like it helps, but it's still, they still get dented here. So like when you put that in, it really makes them solid. So I guess I'll put you on time lapse and I'll get this axle housing out. So let's get to it. Okay, got some progress done. Got the shock tabs, the ball gussets, and the steering stop gussets welded on, along with ram mount. What's up, guys? It's Monday. I didn't do any filming yesterday. I actually forgot my camera at my house again because I was uploading videos. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night, trying to get the newest video out. So anyways, progress has been made. Got the front axle together yesterday, so I'll just show it to you. So we got the whole front axle assembled. I had to grind the inside of the balls out to get the chromoly shafts in, so that took time. Yeah, then like all the hardware had like dirt in like the nuts and stuff, so I kind of took my time to clean all them up. So yeah, it took a lot longer than I wanted. It took me all day yesterday to get the axle how you see it. I also made these little brake tabs too, like I did on my sidekick, because I'm running without the back blade eliminators. Okay, so I got new hardware for the transfer case because I had just 3/8 bolts in it. So I went down to the hardware store and I got, I think they're 10mm bolts. So I got them installed. I didn't paint the spacers, whatever. And then I was putting them on, and then yesterday and I was looking at this mount and I saw like mud like coming off of it. So right in here it was all cracked from like here the whole way back, and then it was like there, this spot's all open, but like I said, it was cracked here, and then here it started to crack, and then on this side, like this whole weld here was cracked out, and then on here too it was cracked. I mean, it's not pretty. So I got my cutoff wheel up here and cut a slot in it through the crack, and then just like kind of made a little gap in the crack, and then I filled the whole crack in the whole way around it. And then same thing with here, I just cut it a little bit and then filled it. Same thing with the front here. So yeah, so I found that, so I'm hoping it holds up for the day of wheeling. What else did I do to it? Oh yeah, I got the differential back actually this morning. He got that all together. I did not assemble this, just to clarify it. A 488 spool with brand new bearings. So yeah, I got that. So I was actually working on putting that in. I had to pull the studs out of that housing because I was missing 6 of them. I think they were messed up, and then also I noticed this one too. I'm gonna pull this one out. So we're gonna put that one in. They're just hand tight. I gotta tighten them all up yet. So I got them on. I put the baffles in last night. So my plan is hopefully have this whole axle together today. So yeah, so that's where I'm at as of now. I think you guys are all caught up. I mean, I just did some painting on the shock towers. Did some painting. And that's pretty much about it. So anyways, I guess I'm gonna set you up in a time lapse on me throwing this rear axle together. I hope it doesn't take me all day because today is Monday and we have what, 1, 2, 3 days to get this thing done, not counting today. So yeah, so I have a feeling I'll be working Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, but whatever, it's all in fun. But anyways, let's get to work. So as you saw in the time lapse, I cut the drum to get to the shoes, and then you hit the shoes because they were rusted fast. Man, what a pain. But anyways, I got that side off. I just got to get all the springs off. I got all new hardware for the brakes and all that good stuff, so don't really need to worry about that. I am going to try to clean these up a little bit and then like paint them. So if I need any parts, because these are pretty rusted, I'm pretty sure the shafts that were in it, they were pretty decent. Kind of surprising. Or maybe, I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, it looks a little nicer than what's in there, but I'll figure it out. Okay, so it's Monday night. Today was a super hectic day. Felt like I didn't get anything done. But for the flanges for the drive shafts, so yeah, I'll just get into it. So here we go. Okay, so like Toyota Toyota drive shafts, bolt patterns are the same for Samurai large flange, okay? They work, but like on the drive shaft, let me get it over here. Like this part of the drive shaft, like this round part, this part's bigger diameter than the Samurai flange. So the Samurai flange had to get put on a lathe and like a bigger hole put in it. So I went down to my buddy's house, I did that, it fit. Well, I went to go put the transfer case. I put the flanges back on the transfer case. I put the nuts back in, locked them down. And then the drive shaft hit the nut and it stuck out from the flange probably like a 1/4 inch or a little less than that. So I had to make these flanges. I had to go pick up my parts from the laser guy. So I just had him cut me some out. So, I mean, as you can see it right here, it's all mocked up. I mean, the bolts aren't tight, just finger tight. And it seems like it works. So you do have to put spacers in for the Toyota drive shafts to work. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get at. So, yeah, so I did that today. A friend of mine who's buying it, he came up and he put the whole rear brakes assembly together with the new drums. So the rear axle's almost done. Just gotta put fluid in it. And then we're also gonna redo, like this brake line broke off when I was taking it off. So we're gonna redo some of the brake lines on it. So yeah, so she's coming together. I haven't been home yet today to see if the Heim joints came for the steering, which they said they were supposed to be delivered today. So hopefully tomorrow, my plan is to get this, if I get the Heim joints for the steering, I'm hoping to have this thing running and driving out of my garage tomorrow, which tomorrow's Tuesday. So hopefully that happens. So then, like, yeah, we're getting somewhere then. So anyways, that's it for the night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. What's up, guys? It's Tuesday, so man, we're getting real close. We're getting down the wire. But anyways, I did a little bit of work this morning already, as you saw in the time lapses. So I'll just show you what I got done. Got the Heim joints on for the steering. Had to drill out the steering arms to 5/8. So I got that on, and I had to drill the pitman arm out too for 5/8. So yeah, the steering's mocked up. I need to make the ram mount on the tie rod bar yet, so I gotta do that. The plan is for today is to have this thing running and driving out of my shop, so then I can take it down to his shop and he can do all the brake lines on his lift, because he has a tool and all that stuff to do that stuff, to flare it. So yeah, so less talking, more working. Let's get on it. Okay, so I was putting the drive shaft in. I got it bolted up to the transfer case, and then I was getting ready to bolt down here, and it was literally like 5 inches away from the back of this flange to this flange was 5 inches away. I don't know exactly how he had it set up because I don't remember, but anyways, I ended up having to make a new drive shaft for the front. So I went down to my buddy's house. He turned down the slip yoke and the U-joint end. And then he had this too, because I didn't have anything this big. Like, they fit in here snug, so it aligned itself okay. I mean, it's not horrible. It's a little off, but it's not bad. So, I mean, we're just gonna run it because, like, we're kind of out of time. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and usually most businesses have half days on Wednesday because Thanksgiving Eve. So yeah, that's pretty much what I ran into today. I got the drive shaft mocked up though, so all I have to do is unbolt it, weld it up, and then the front drive shaft's done. Then I also had to put it, well, I didn't put it in, I had to put a new U-joint in the front here because this one was bad. And actually, when I was spinning this, I noticed this one's bad too. see. Yeah, it's side to side. So that one's bad too. So I got another one ordered. Hopefully we can get it for tomorrow morning so we can get that one in. And then pretty much what's left to do is I have to go to the hardware store. I got to buy new hardware for this because I put the 1/4 inch spacer in. The front one, I did not have to use the 1/4 inch spacer. So yeah, I just reuse the 14 millimeter bolts for the drive shaft. And then I have to get new bolts for this one too, since these are too short. I mean, they're not too short, but I'm gonna try to get a metric so they're a little bit bigger. So yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I mean, pretty much what's left to do is brake lines. Got to get brake lines figured out, which my buddy down at the shop, which is buying the Samurai, he's going to be doing the brake lines. The alignment. I got to put oil in the diffs and oil in the transfer case. And then put them bolts in the rear drive shaft and the front drive.